So I'm going to be talking about the evolution of governance and ownership economy, and it's basically going to be like how shitty the governance that we're using today and the lies that we tell ourselves in governance. So, like, we'll have, going to talk a bit about me, the histories of DAO on Ethereum, just a quick recap, the ownership economy, at least what was promised, kind of a question about how does DAO work and what makes DAOs tick. How does DAO participation work? And I have a big problem to present, and I'm going to do it with memes, and going to talk about a possible solution as well. So, I lived in China. In the background, this is Tel Aviv. This is where I live. It's not the view from my house, but yeah. So I lived in China, and someone sent me the article about the DAO hack. I was kind of using Bitcoin before that. I had no idea what it was, but yeah. Someone sent me the article about one of the articles about the DAO hack, and it blew my mind. And essentially, since then, I'm in crypto. I had my own startup, and then I joined DAOstack. In DAOstack, I did DHack, which was a decentralized hackathon that we ran in most of the hackathons in 2019, and it evolved to become like the Builder Collective. And then I joined dxDAO, essentially since the formation. And recently, I joined Collider Ventures. We're an early stage crypto fund. And yeah, so this is like about me. So a brief history about DAOs. So we had in 2016, like I said, the DAO hack happened, and then everybody was scared of DAOs forever. And then what happened afterwards is we had Aragon and DAOstack who did an ICO. They wanted to build sort of end-to-end DAO applications, or anyone could build their own DAO, customized, that have plugins. You can say like the traction was relatively stagnant. And then in 2019 there was the Moloch DAO kind of happening, and a Cambrian explosion after Meta Cartel created the DAO, created like the Meta Cartel DAO, and lots of followed afterwards. In 2020, we had the DeFi summer. Everybody starting using the compound governance standard, and then later on Snapshot. And in 2021, the prevailing way to do governance is token voting with Snapshot and Gnosis Safe with a multisig. Right? So the ownership economy, this is from Jesse Walden's famous article about the ownership economy in 2020. And I guess you can read it. Rather than a platform's inner circle of founders and investors taking home the value, also users are able to use to earn the majority of the value generated from the collective contributions. Amazing. This sounds so great, right? If I'm a user of, I don't know, Airbnb or Turo, why shouldn't I have, a bit of stake in the platform as well? So yeah, now that we have that, I want to ask a question. Who knows, I guess there are lots of people who are members of DAO here. What does make DAO tick? How does DAO work? Anyone? Is anyone a member of a DAO? Huh? No? How does it work? What gets it going? How do people create stuff, yeah? Motivating people, okay, yeah. Yes? Shared mission, all right. Capital, okay. Okay, I'm looking for something else, yeah? Incentives, okay. Also incentives is good. I'm talking about something else, and let's see if you agree with me. Initiative, right? Anyone can come to the DAO, anyone can make a proposal. I have an idea to create something, and they would post this in the chat, they would post it in the forum, and yeah, maybe it will get traction, and then maybe they'll get funded by the DAO to build that. And let's look at a few examples. So, one of the most famous ones is Andre Cronje. Let's stop minting Wi-Fi and make it like a meme like Bitcoin, that it's capped supply, and then it shot to the moon, and Wi-Fi became a thing. Or we have in the metaverse, in an index co-op, someone came up and said hey, let's do the metaverse index. We have DPI. Let's do a metaverse for an index for metaverse companies. And that kind of happened, and it's one of the most successful products. We have on Aave, the sushi community went there and asked to add X sushi as collateral. That created basically amazing upside for sushi, because now you can stay, locked in sushi and then borrow against it. So you're earning, sushi yield and then borrowing against it. There's another in the sushi forums. There's a team who came there and said we want to build Bonsai, which is the sushi implementation on Solana, and that was that's kind of happening, and they're funded. And like the last one is from the dxDAO community, where someone actually came and criticized an action that dxDAO has done, like very thorough, basically to take DXD tokens and put them in liquidity pools, which would kind of essentially flood the market with DXD, right? And then actually this member got to be heard. He was invited to calls and ended up joining the dxDAO as a full-time member. It is actually 2 people, and we just met them like for the first time today, like this week. So yeah, these are like kind of examples. Yeah, okay. So anyone has created and passed a governance proposal? Anyone here? Yeah? Yeah? Oh, lots of people, yeah? So what did it take? Communication, yeah? Anyone? Anyone else? Sorry? Time? Yeah? What else? Yes? Oh, gas. All right, yeah. Definitely gas. So I made a meme because it's easier, So it's like, forum topic, Discord AMA, 3 community calls, one-on-one calls with stakeholders, answer questions, proposal revisions, more calls, and obviously $100 in gas. Yeah, and that is cheap, right? Yeah, so, right, we're on the right track here, right? We have bottom-up collaboration, right? Like anyone can come and propose stuff and, and make it work. We have cross-community participation, as we've seen with Sushi, going to Aave, and many of these communities collaborating with each other. And with the dxDAO example, we saw that critics are welcome, right? Critics come and they can, deliver their message and get really invited by the DAO itself to voice their concern. So instead of explaining the problem, I'm just gonna meme it away. So, yeah. Yeah, so the stop here is from Jesse Walden's presentation about the ownership economy and like how it's no longer AWS or Uber or any of these things, but in reality, what the fuck is this? It's just all the voting power is in the hands of VCs and a bunch of founders. We have this one where we're like, oh, let's do the ownership economy, or what? It's token voting. It's let's recreate the existing capital economy where if you have money, you can vote and you can actually buy this voting power. Amazing. Yeah, we have like weirdos, right? Anime and frog avatars. They want to create like a balanced and scalable governance systems, and the result is just VCs like ownership economy. And then kind of like the last one. I think it's the last one. Yeah. Yeah, they want to test on-chain governance system, or want to use centralized off-chain sensible voting systems, and 5 out of 9 multisig. That's like in the best case. Is anyone here a member of such multisig? Yeah? Oh, I don't know if I would put your hands up, but yeah. Nod or wink, So yeah, one of the most recent cases, I call it the Uniswap DeFi Education Fund debacle. Right? So, these guys, these Harvard Law, they come to Uniswap and they're like, listen, let's create a DeFi education fund. Later it was changed to a defense fund. And you have a bunch of people, they're asking lots of questions. And what happens is that, they answer some of these questions, but most of these questions essentially go ignored. And, you have these top voters, which some of them are still like unknown, but I don't know, A16Z has delegated votes to them, and they passed a proposal after, a bunch of people from the community resist. There's lots of questions, but, no one really answers them. So yeah, what are some of the issues we maybe talked about here? Anyone? Like, what did you learn from the memes? Blockchain sucks, yeah. Can't deny that, yeah. Anyone? Unequal distribution of voting power. What is it? Did someone say plutocracy? Yeah, plutocracy. So how can we fix this? So I see like two problems. One is like, oh, we're using Snapshot. It's literally a server. It's a server. Stop fooling yourselves. You're connecting with a MetaMask, but it's a server. And then, so why don't we like practice decentralization on side chains, L2s, have minimal gas costs? Because that's kind of like the main thing. You don't want to pay $100 in gas to make a proposal or vote on a proposal. And then the second thing is, empower those who work and use products with something, I didn't invent this, but it's called reputation or karma based voting power. And now we're going to dive into that. So reputation-based voting. So reputation or karma, it can be gained by working for the DAO, like doing actual stuff. So this is like DAO activities, being a worker, a full-time employee, stuff like that. And obviously, not obviously, but reputation is non-transferable. Essentially, it's not you own the reputation, but the DAO gives you reputation value. This can actually tie in with Ahmad's presentation earlier, with the reputation that he's looking to do. And then, DAOs can gauge forum participation, call attendance, initiatives, and, discourse, Discord, source cred, and other basically developments that allow you to quantify participation and give these guys, a bit more voting power. So a quick comparison, reputation-based voting versus token-based voting. So in reputation-based voting, like I said a few minutes ago, it's controlled by the DAO, right? Like you cannot trade and buy this reputation. The DAO gives you this value, as opposed to, in token-based voting where I can sell my voting power. It's non-transferable. It's resilient to vote buying, right? Like if I want to sell my reputation, I actually need to sell you my private key. And then the last point is you could say that reputation is better for non-objective decisions. So what I'm proposing or what I'm thinking about is to utilize both token and reputation-based voting power to create a formula that incentivizes participation in decentralized governance. And I have an example from dxDAO. We had governance 2.0 working group. We had Delphi, dxDAO guys from DAOstack, 1KX, and a few others who participated. This was gone over about 3 months. So the primitives are basically that reputation is earned. It's the on-chain representation of contributions in the dxDAO. dxDAO is dxD is the liquid financial value in dxDAO, and holding dxDs does not necessitate governance participation. Reputation should be non-transferable. A multiplier or constant should be applied to it. And the purpose of dxD at the end of the day is to have essentially a guarantee for dxDAO financial claim. So if you hold dxD and the dxDAO makes money in the future, then you get to earn some of that. So the results, I can link or I can send you the actual end of the research here, but why don't we have both? We have both voting power or locked future token voting power combined with reputation influence. Yeah, there's all these functions and formulas. Anyone could play with it in a different way, but this is kind of what I'm getting at. That you have when a proposal comes up, the voting power is calculated by both dxD tokens and reputation. That's something that we're looking to do. If anyone actually wants to, assist in building that, then reach out to some of the dxDAO people here. Discussion, thoughts. Yes. Yeah. So the status in dxDAO right now is that there's only reputation, and we want to move towards token voting as well. So obviously, if you move to that, then it becomes kind of like bureaucracy of workers, right? And then you have to balance it. You have to figure out how do you incentivize people to actually participate. If you tell Andreessen Horowitz, oh, listen, you guys have to be active in the forums, right? You have to read what the community is talking about. You have to do all these things. Then maybe they will be more active, and they will be more informed. Yo.
So I was hoping you could just clarify on, you were saying the model will be that there will be a token, but it's just like a claim on like revenue or treasury value or something, and then, but it doesn't actually give any governance?
Yeah, no. So in the case of dxDAO, the token does give you claim on future revenue, but we want to, additionally, we want to have, to give it voting power somehow. And you can take like the curve model where you can lock tokens for like a long time, and then, you get voting power proportional to how much you locked and for how long and stuff like that. And then combine that with reputation. So yeah, like it will be like voting power and voting power tokens, liquid tokens, combined with reputation.
Cool. And one other kind of follow-up is, I've been thinking about kind of these like reputation models and wondering like if it makes sense, like say you're like really early in a protocol, you like rack up a ton of reputation and then you like just kind of like go away. But you were early, so you got a ton of reputation. Like, do you think it makes sense to have
decay
or to have, I mean, maybe an easier model is just to have reputation distribution like increase to kind of dilute early people?
Yeah, so like you can have, I mean, decay and inflation could like kind of achieve the same result, right? So in dxDAO, for example, there's just inflation. And yeah, like someone was active in the past and more is minted and his share gets diluted.
Yeah, I think the difference would be more of like a UX thing. Like nobody likes number go down.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Cool, thanks, man.
More questions? We got a few more minutes. I saw a hand. You? No? You?
Thank you. Okay, so just to take the other side of this point of view, isn't money a way of reputation? They have served society, giving value, so now they have the reputation to affect protocols, governments. So that's one part of it. And the other one is that the memes assume that the current governance system is corrupted. But it's just the way it works. Now, it's bad only if we also assume that the people who have the power are acting against the broader good.
Okay, maybe I'll answer the second one first. I think if we're going like sort of, I guess, Ayn Rand, like everyone wants to maximize profit, right? And if I'm a VC, then I would want to maximize my profits. And I think this is in stark contrast to like the narrative of the ownership economy. It's not just VCs. It's not just the team. It's also the people who are using it. But my point is that currently it's a facade, and it's like they made you think that, but you don't really have any power. So that's on that. And can you remember the first question? And I don't know if that's satisfying.
Money is a form of reputation.
Yeah.
So in a way, they already gained that reputation, some sort of service via the current service or their great-grandfathers.
Yeah. So, I mean, if I lock my tokens, let's say if I lock my tokens for 4 years of some project, that really means I believe in it, right? Like that's like a vote of confidence that for 4 years I believe these tokens would be worth more. That's very valuable, but some contributors might not have capital. And some contributors are workers and they're very good at, making memes, and those memes are very valuable. Or they're very good at like running community calls, and that's very valuable, and they should have their voice, accounted for in these governance systems. So there are many things that are not capital related. And I think like we need to account these too. And that's kind of the goal of reputation, karma, whatever.
Okay, just, I don't know if there's another question, but just so I understand it better. So there is capital equity that allows you some power in the governance. And I guess what you're proposing is, let's make a road for sweat equity to gain that type of power.
Yeah, I mean, they have to work together, right? Like, it's not going to be one or the other. I'm giving in dxDAO, it's the other way. It's like just reputation, and it's just sweat equity, and that just doesn't make sense for the long term. So I think that from the other side, it doesn't make sense for it to be just capital equity. I like that actually, like sweat equity and capital equity. Maybe we'll have more. Meme equity.
Yeah, great memes, by the way. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. Any more questions? Yeah, come on up.
Hi, so thanks for the talk. I really appreciate how you stressed about Snapshot being a centralized server and all of that. And that's been one of my concerns since the early days. And I wanted to ask you a question regarding the forums. Because I think the forums are still like the nerve of the battle of governance. But what you
The
say...
forum, sorry?
The governance forums.
Oh, yeah, like a discourse.
But what you said is essentially my experience on the forum. So, you have a VC posting a proposal, and some people from the team or other supporters of the VC will post a one-line message saying, yeah, it's cool, we should do that. Then you come with an argumented answer, highlighting 7 or 8 areas for improvement. And then another VC come and your answer is ignored, essentially. So that happened to me quite a lot. So I wonder if you thought about what can we do for the governance forum?
Interesting. I mean, I know there are a couple of projects working in this space. I don't know if they solve this problem, right? This is, we talked about sort of like the technical challenges. I think the social challenges are, we haven't even started scratching the surface of that, of like the social coordination and social problems that we have. I don't know, this is interesting. Like, if maybe we need to prevent, I don't know, or this needs to be like a social consensus, I guess. Until the all questions are being answered, then you wouldn't take the proposal to the actual DAO.
Or even like signaling mechanism on the answer.
Oh yeah,
like the frustrating part is most of this forum, they have a heart feature. So you can put a heart on the message. But even if you get a lot of hearts, they can still ignore the message. They have and pass the proposal, like you were saying for the Uniswap, where Chris Blake and others led the effort to ask for more transparency, ask for more control, and they pretty much got nothing, literally nothing, but a slim promise that some kind of control mechanism called failsafe would be implemented. That's all they got after weeks of campaigning, letter, and so on.
Yeah, that was kind of ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, you need to have social consensus around these things. Like, how do you get a proposal to the actual governance, right? You have to answer all the questions. You have to, I don't know, maybe do a community call or a Twitter space, whatever that community decides. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, like the social challenges of DAOs are like, we haven't, so much to explore there.
Yeah, I like the idea of bringing back trust. I think that's part of it, definitely. That's another thing that, essentially, I guess my whole point you were asking earlier, what's wrong with governance? I would have gone with the lack of innovation. We haven't tried a single new thing. We're one token, one vote. Those who get the most money get the most vote. We don't care if you dump 1 billion units of the token every day. If that's possible, you will still have the same influence. We don't care if you are trashing the protocol on Twitter, Discord all day long. You will still have the same influence. And I think this is more this part where we need to reincorporate is identity in the broadest sense. Like, I don't really care who you are. I care your track record. Like, what do you stand for?
Yeah. So yeah, I urge you to like check out dxDAO that has this. Yeah, it's basically fully reputation, which has its own problems, right? But yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Any more questions?
I think we're at time.
Woo!
And yeah, thank you so much. If you have more questions for dxDAO.